Here with us is international security expert Olivier Gaeta. Hello to you, Olivier. We believe that the gentleman that was just being greeted by François Hollande was actually the mayor of this small community. 8 attacks in 18 months in France. What is François Hollande going to do about it?
He doesn't have much in his hands that he can do. I mean, he extended the state of emergency, added soldiers, but what he needs is a serious reform of the security services and the way they collect information when it comes also to human intelligence, because that could have possibly prevented the attack today, but also in terms of the judicial system. We've learned from the French media that possibly the prosecutor wanted one of these individuals to stay in jail rather than having an electronic tag. So there will be more counterterrorism laws that will be passed in the next few months, most probably. But also they will have to go back to the drawing board and look at every single attack and what lessons they can learn quickly on the run.
How does the system work between the intelligence services and the police on the ground in France? How does it compare to, say, what happens here in the United Kingdom?
Look, it's pretty good when it comes to the intelligence that is shared. That is not really the problem. The problem lies in the fact that they don't have enough resources. And as we've said earlier on, they're overstretched. They have so much to just digest in terms not only of data, but on physical surveillance of suspects. We're talking on this list that this individual was probably on possibly 5,000 potential jihadists. That means literally 150,000 police staff to follow them around the clock.
Other European countries, other European intelligence agencies and police services will say that they are stretched as well, and yet we see time after time these attacks happening, particularly in France.
You are absolutely correct. The reason being is France is the #1 target for Islamic State, even ahead of the US.
Because of the Syrian coalition?
Because of a couple of things. I would name 3 quickly. The first one is that France has had the most aggressive, if you will, military intervention around the world, not just Syria, but also in Mali. So they have taken the role of the US in terms of gendarme of the world. That's #1. The second, some jihadists view France as an Islamophobic country because of the laws they passed on the ban of the burqa, for instance. Third, France has the largest contingent of Western foreign fighters in Syria and Iraq, close to 2,000. So, and fourth, I will say, some of the members of the leadership of Islamic State are actually 2 Frenchmen who have no other desire than to attack the homeland.
And do they have a similar situation in Paris that they potentially do in Brussels, where they have basically ghettoized groups of young men who are, as a result, feeling alienated from other members of society? And that is the perfect area for fostering this sort of behaviour.
There's a couple of points that are interesting to look at. Is that in some of those attacks, the individuals didn't come from poor background, but from middle-class background. One other thing is that in terms of integration, because that's where the issue lies, when it comes to Muslim girls, for instance, all the way until they're 18, they're much more integrated than Muslim men. And as you mentioned, it's usually males that go after the targets. But it's not only that. We've seen in the past that the linkage between criminality and jihadism is huge. Usually the scenario goes, a petty criminal would go to jail and self-radicalize there, or there's an imam that radicalizes him over there. And we've seen time and time again that all those individuals started their quote-unquote career as petty criminals, then moving to becoming jihadists.
And also, going back to what you were saying a few moments ago, each one of these attacks that have been carried out, the people that have carried out these attacks have previously been known to the authorities, but you're saying that they are so overstretched that there is literally nothing that the French authorities, they all say there's nothing they can do about it.
Yes. The only case we had that security services didn't know of the person was the attack in Nice. This is the
Although he was on the radar, but for other reasons.
Exactly.
He was a petty criminal.
Exactly, but it wasn't on that specific terror watch list that we're talking about today. But you are correct. I mean, privately, French security services have said for the past year that there's nothing more than they can do at this point because of just the sheer amount of threats that they have. I mean, the ex-Intel director of France actually said that from just 50 people that they had to surveil just 5 or 10 years ago, they've moved now to 1,000.
Wow. And it's a moving target in that they choose different soft targets. Initially, it was journalists who would speak against their faith or members of the military. Now, a quiet church in a quiet village to the north of Paris.
Yes, you are correct. They have moved on, but what is interesting is Islamic State had called on their followers in France to attack churches in one of their magazines previously, and also we had a foiled attack in April 2015 against a church in Villejuif.
Is that a religious attack, do you think? I mean, obviously it is in that it's a church, but is it because it's a soft target, or is it for religious reasons?
It's for religious reason when it comes to Islamic State. I mean, Islamic State has been very strong on attacking Italy, for instance, because of being the siege of Christianity. So they've talked time and time again how much they want to target Rome, for instance. And so compared to Al-Qaeda, they've focused even much more on possibly attacking the Christian community, and today was the first time in Europe that the Christian community was directly attacked by jihadists.
Okay, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks a lot.